All right, and we're live. How's it going, everybody? So today we'll be continuing work on the movie app. Just gonna give folks a few minutes to join. So just trying to remember exactly where we got last time. We kind of got a few of like the critical things that were messed up. Kind of got some of those resolved. Right now, you know, we kind of have this transition between the carousel and like the detail kind of working. You know, still not perfect. I think what I'd like to do is make it so that this this screen here, like the kind of white portion, I think it ought to scroll entirely up instead of having the content scroll underneath it. I think that would have like a good look. I think we also want to make the buy ticket button expand a bit. Let's see. I mean, other than that, it's definitely looking better, right? Let's go ahead and look at the design that we had. So we could build the stars, the star rating widget, and then like, cause that one does kind of like a springy animation up, whereas everything else. Well, and actually there is like a bit of a staggering between these actor images that come up. Hey Sociedad, Android, good to see you. Hey Ains, good to see you. You know, so let's see. I guess we could, I mean, I'm curious to know what people would kind of find most useful here. We could like kind of go towards this third screen transition, which happens, let's see. So I guess basically, once you finally hit buy tickets, then it takes you to a whole new screen. Which I'm just trying to interpret like this UX here. I guess the top of the screen is like supposed to be some sort of a like you're kind of like got an overhead view of a movie theater, I guess. And so the screen is like very skewed. And then you've got all of the seats. But maybe just doing this like the transition where the button shrinks to a circle and then expands to fill the whole screen. You know, that could be an interesting transition to build. Or I mean, I could go more towards. This is kind of where I'd love to get some of your input, but what we could do maybe instead of spending more time on animation is we could start refactoring this app to use the movie database API and like bring in like real data and stuff like that. So that could be like another approach. So Society.Android, maybe the first frames can be little frames of the real video and then the other transition just a default one for all. I'm not sure I understood what you mean there. Are you saying that like for this part of the transition you would show like an actually part of the movie and then eventually it starts skewing? Yeah, so you can see there the screen is kind of like half skewed, and then here you can like barely see what it is. Are you saying that like this part would you would, you know, just kind of have like a fake video kind of going? So Ibrahim asks, is common views animation like a rating bar using shared transitions from screen to screen like we have in HTML? Sorry, Ibrahim, I'm not sure I understand the question. So you're asking if like the rating bar in this like design video, if we would do that using, because the like the type of transitions you're talking about, these like shared element transitions, I think you're bringing up, it doesn't seem like the rating bar would require that. So maybe I misunderstood the question. Mosh Java asks, is this a real background behind you or a fake one? It's real. It's my home office. I've got like an overhead camera here if you want to see that. Okay, so for the few people that are in here right now, I think I'll go one or two directions right now. I think I could go towards making this this sort of third screen here, and doing a bit more polish on the way, and then also the transition into that screen, which will look like this. Or I could. We could start refactoring the app to actually leverage real data. So we could use this movie database API and kind of go that direction. So one would kind of be more focused on like animations and like design. Another would be more focused on like state management and kind of dealing with kind of more typical app development type stuff. Let me know what you think. Hey, Sir Gray. Society.Android says, what about that telescope? Yeah, it's my telescope. I wish I used it more. I don't. I live in Pacifica, which has quite a bit of fog, and so we don't get very many clear nights. But I'm into like stargazing and stuff like that, but I don't really live in a place where I can easily do it often. So mostly it just sits here in my office as a decoration. But it's like a pretty entry-level Celestron telescope. Okay, so we've got 2 votes for the real data. Hey, Nicholas. So unless anyone objects, I think we'll start going down that direction. Okay, yeah, looks like we got some consensus here. Cool. So this will be fun. I've never used this this API directly, so let's figure out how we can start pulling it out. So I guess we need to requires to be logged in. Okay, so I think I might have to join here. I'll do this in another screen. All right, I'm gonna register for this API real quick. So if anyone's got any questions while I do that, shoot them over. Hello, Tutor. Okay. Has anyone been watching the Kotlin 1.4 event? So Society.Android says they're in the plannings of Compose architecture to follow some certain paths while we code composables. So I'm not sure of the question. Like, are you asking if we're planning on releasing new like architecture guidance on Compose or what? I wonder, it would be interesting to like do some, I don't know, I've been thinking a lot lately about like how to do interesting things on the stream and like different formats of things. I want to try and get a better like pair programming setup. But another thing would be like watching something like the Kotlin 1.4 announcement and like providing commentary or something. That could be kind of an interesting format. Oh well, Tutor, I'm honored that my stream has won out over the Kotlin 1.4 event. Society.Android says, for example, state hoisting is a recommended way to do composables, but my question is more about if there's a certain way to architect the creation of composables to be maintainable in the future. I don't know. I mean, I think that we're putting out guidance, you know, when we feel like there is kind of like some clear anti-patterns or clear good patterns that we, you know, may know from experience that like this is a sort of a known bad path. So, you know, try to avoid this, or like, you know, we've run into this problem and this has worked out really well. So we think you should do this. I want us to like kind of really slow play that as much as we can, because, you know, I think that in general, Compose is pretty new, and there's probably a lot that we can learn from other toolkits and stuff that follow similar kind of declarative component-based patterns. But there are also a lot of things that are unique to Compose that we'll kind of be figuring out long term. And I don't want to put out any guidance that has a chance of us sort of needing to contradict it in the future. And so there are some things that we might sort of loosely believe but not necessarily know for sure, and then other things that we might feel pretty confident in, and we'll start talking about those. But yeah, I don't know. In general, I want to see the community sort of evolve organically here. I don't want Google to sort of be the arbiter of good patterns, everything composed or anything like that. But I don't know, that's just me. Okay, so Sergey says, my favorite from the Kotlin event are function decorators, value classes, and namespaces. Yeah, I agree. Well, actually, as far as function decorators go, I have a lot of questions, but I think it's an interesting avenue of exploration. But I think namespaces make a ton of sense. I'm constantly frustrated at how heavyweight companion objects feel, and so that's been, I don't know, just like a big blemish on Kotlin as a language for me. And then value classes, there's probably nothing that I'm more excited about than that. I think that Valhalla can't be done soon enough, and having the ability to have these classes that behave like value types, it'll be huge. And especially for instance, like the work that I'm doing right now for stable inference and things like that, it will provide people a very clear path to define stable types, which I really like. So that's nice. Yeah, okay, so sorry, I'm just trying to get this API key for the movie database created. Taking a second. It's like asking me for all of this identifying information. Okay. Ooh, application summary. Example app for Jetpack Compose. Okay. I'm like not really sure how much I care about keeping this API key secret. I think it's probably fine. It's a free API, so I'm not really worried about it. Okay. All right, let's go over here. So I've created an app and gotten an API key. I guess, what is their authentication process? Looks like we can add a query parameter or a token, which I guess this is a header, HTTP header, would be my guess. Okay. Does anyone have any strong opinions on which HTTP library I should use? I mean, normally I use Retrofit, but it's been a while since I've actually used it. So if anyone has any opinions here, feel free to interject. Yeah. Let's see. Let's just grab the latest, I guess. Why is none of my keyboard shortcuts are working? Okay. Let's just throw this in there. Okay, so let's just create a new file to dump some of this in here. Is fuel? So yeah, is fuel like a Kotlin centric one? I could check that out. What does that look like? Fuel GitHub. Has anyone used this before? Does it leverage coroutines? I think it would be neat if something was heavily coroutine based. I don't know. I don't remember if Retrofit has like a Kotlin extensions thing or not. Android usage coroutines. Yeah, I would hope most of these would cancel properly. So what are they using here? So response to serializable. I think Jackson. I don't know. I mean, so this looks cool. I kind of want to check it out more, but maybe we'll just use retrofit for now. I don't know, unless anyone feels strongly. Although hopefully, yeah, I don't think it'll have any issue. I don't know how the annotation-based stuff works, but. So I'm not sure if, I don't know if Kotlin X serialization might actually have issues with Compose right now, because if it's an annotation, or if it works as a compiler plugin. Yeah, I'm not sure that we'll be able to use this with. Okay, Sergey, you've used Kotlin X serialization, and you have it in a module that uses Compose. Yeah, you moved the serialization into a different module. I mean, that would work. I wonder if we just use something like this, though. This might avoid those issues. Yeah, anyway, let's try and get the let's just get like the API built for now. So let's see. JSON. I don't know if I've ever even used JSON. Let's see, class movie API. So where's like a, I just want to get like a easy API endpoint to try out. Movies. Collections. Sorry, I don't understand this documentation very well. So like what would the right endpoint be for just searching a list of movies? Top rated? Get the top rated movies. Yeah, okay. Or popular. Let's try that. So popular, and then let's see. Popular. JSON is the fragments of JSON serialization. That's funny. Yeah. Thanks, Sergey. So I guess this doesn't take any. We've got a page. And a region, I guess. Filter release dates. David Mfras, any reason you use a class instead of an interface for the retrofit API? Yeah, interface is probably what I want. I was just typing blindly. So Sergey, this this suspend, like you had suspend function here. Does that mean, so like if I wanted to list a movie here, I would do that instead of like the call thing? Do I need to download like a retrofit extension for the suspend function version? Let me move so I'm going to move some of these classes into here. API. All right, so I think in here what I want to do, so let's create a actually, yeah, ambient movie API. Ambient of movie API. And then let's say providers. Yeah, movie API provides API coordinates. So here I'm just setting up some code to provide the movie API over an ambient. And then let's see. So David Emfra says, back in the day, you had to return a deferred and use a custom retrofit adapter for it to work. I think that right now you only need to add suspend and it just works. Okay, well, yeah, let's give that a shot. That sounds nice. Hey, Dev Souza. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. All right, and so is there a converter factory that doesn't that like I can use if I see I can use Moshi? I don't see one for Kotlin X serialization in the retrofit docs. Okay, so looks like this one here. I wonder if I can use Moshi without having a whole nother module. I see it's not official. Yeah. Yeah, I just saw that. Thanks. Let's add Moshi. And then what version I need for that? Oh, there's a Moshi Kotlin. All right. So I'm assuming that Moshi and Converter Moshi are the same version here. We'll see. Did Sergey just send me a... Sergey set up a gist. Wow, just need Sergey do my work for me. Okay. Oh, nice. So this would need to be in a new module, right? Right, Sergey? It's the retrofit version. Yeah, I don't think that right now the Kotlin X serialization is going to work in the same module. We can use a separate module if we want, but hey, Roshan. Let's see. I like this OKHTTP thing you did here. This is nice. Dev Souza asks if I saw the immutable proposal for Kotlin. Yeah, I mean, I assume you're talking about val classes. Is that what you mean? MSP Max says, just joined, great stuff. Have you used Kotlin multi-platform with Compose? Obviously, Compose being the UI module. Well, I mean, so up until recently, Compose used Kotlin multi-platform, but probably not. I haven't used it in the way that you're suggesting, I guess. But I know some other people have. So, and yeah, so as far as val classes, you know, I think it's great. I mean, we kind of knew that this was coming with Valhalla. And like inline classes, you know, kind of needing to work with Valhalla, like this seems like the right path forward. Because the JVM will essentially have first class support for this at some point. The interesting thing would be for like, it's pretty interesting to consider, like if you have, like, let's say we have like a val class, you know, point val x, val y. So it's pretty interesting to consider what happens for some of these things. For instance, so when these are immutable, that, you know, makes sense. Like if I want to say point equals point, you know, 10, 20. What happens when I make this var? So right now, it's easy to imagine, you know, point equals point.copy x equals 0 or something like that. But it would be interesting if val classes allowed for something like this. And the idea would be that you could say point.x equals 0, and you know, like that would work just like assigning to an int would, right? So for instance, I can have var you know, scalar equals 10, and then I can say scalar equals 0, and you know, I changed what var, like I changed what scalar points to, but I didn't mutate the object, right? I just changed the reference. And so it would be interesting if this works the same way. Like that seems like it's potentially very confusing to people. I'm not sure. But yeah. If they were just these objects though that just worked this way, that would be pretty interesting, because from my perspective, from a composable function that took in a point, it would be really cool to say, you know, that like this type is a val class, and so it's just straight up stable, even if you can sort of, you know, kind of mutate it locally. But I don't know how that would work, and I'm not sure if that's what Roman was suggesting. But like, what you kind of want to be able to do is you kind of want to be able to have this nice syntax to say, okay, I want to set x on point and get it in this new reference. But you know, the assignment operator makes that feel clunky because you don't really know how to assign point, the x property of point. So I don't know. But anyway, I mean, the whole idea of this is really nice, and so we're currently using like you know, we have like inline class like offset, for instance, and that kind of looks like this. But what we do is we're using it as an inline class, and then we're merging both of these integers into a single long, and sort of, you know, packing it into a single value, so that the JVM can just think of offset as a long. But that, you know, adds a lot of complexity, and so what Valhalla will allow us to do is to just represent it this way without the like added complexity of packing. And you know, potentially we can just have, you know, like old Kotlin inline behavior or something that will let us move over into this world. So anyway, cool stuff. I'm excited to, you know, to see people talking about this stuff now, and I hope that Valhalla comes quickly. Can't really come quick enough. So I don't really care about this API key being public, because it just doesn't really matter. I'm not paying for any API access or anything. So here it is. Okay. And Rashawn was also talking about namespaces. I also am excited about namespaces. It would, you know, it reduces the weight of the companion object a lot. Okay, so what do we want here? Let's use Moshi since. Since I think we can use Moshi without making a new module, but it's not a big deal either way. Sorry, I'm just trying to learn how to use Moshi with retrofit here. Let's see what that does. Yeah, Tyler. So I can use Kotlin serialization, but I'm just going to avoid it just for now because it'll require that I make a new module, and I'm just trying to keep it single module right now. Just because there's some bad interactions with basically with the compose compiler plugin and the serialization plugin, since they're both compiler plugins at the moment. I think I can do this. Oh, I don't know. What did I just, oh. There we go. And then I need to Gradle sync here. Just not pulling it in. Here we go. Okay. So now we want to create our models, I guess. So let's go over to the movie database. Let's see. All right. So over here, this is the list of fields that we want. So the main thing I'm interested in is the images and like the title and some stuff like that. So let's just go through a few of these. So we want the ID. That'll be a good one to have. It's an integer. And then, so what's the deal with Moshi? Field JSON name. Okay, easy enough. Name ID. All right, so I want the ID. I want, there's an original title and title. I feel like titles, maybe what I want. I don't know. Okay. And then, oh nice, they have like a video thing. Runtime, revenue. So poster path, that is a good one. Poster path. And then overview might be nice to have. Overview string. Yeah, they have an example like this. I see that. I'm not sure if that's what you were talking about, Sergey, but so I guess genres is something that we're looking for as well, because that's the right now that's like kind of what we have in chips. So I'll do that. Genres, and then we'll want to make genre. Which will be an ID and a name. Okay. I don't really care about the production companies. Oh, and then there's a backdrop path, which we also want. Poster path, backdrop path. And then actors, also something we want. So I guess actors comes in a different API. That's what it seems like. Maybe tagline is also good. Do that. Sergey says he's updated the gist. I'm not sure what was updated. Let me know what you updated. So that gets us the movies. We also want to know like the actors and stuff though. So credits, images. Okay, that's useful to know. Yeah, I see. So this is nice. Which maybe I'll go ahead and add that right now. So like, it might be nice to do like poster URL string, and then this is basically this. Poster path. And then we'll get backdrop URL as well. So we might want to make that like, I mean, it looks like we can change like the widths and stuff here. So we maybe want to make that like a function that accepts a width. Backdrop path. So let's see. So I still want to get the. We might want to get these like image objects. Because it looks like I can request. So as an example here, this gives us like the aspect ratio, path, height. Like this is pretty nice because then we can do some calculations based on that. So maybe I'll create a class for that as well. These are the same, so image. This will have an aspect ratio. I'll say it's a double. File path, string, height, int, and width as well. All right, and then I think, I assume like actors or something will show up here. Alternative titles. So people, maybe. Maybe credits. Is the keyboard noisy? Sorry about that. It might just be being extra loud, I'm not sure. By the way, if anyone, so I'm still using like my wired keyboard because the Microsoft Sculpt that I was using, for some reason, like with the new docking station that I got, it like is not doing well at all. Like the Bluetooth communication, I guess, of it is really poor, and so I've kind of been forced back to use this wired keyboard, and I don't really care about the keyboard being wireless or not. I care about I want the keyboard to be ergonomic, So like basically a split keyboard in some way. And what I'd really like is for the keyboard to be a lot smaller than this one. I don't really care about the number pad on the right. So I don't know if anyone has a good recommendation for a wired ergonomic keyboard that is small. I'd love to hear some recommendations, because so I actually have, well, I got a Kinesis Advantage for free at one point, but I've never had the balls to like start using it. But I wish I was good at typing with it. Like I'm afraid to bite the bullet and have like a productivity suffer for the few weeks or whatever that it would take for my hands to get used to it. But it is pretty small. It's not very wide, and definitely ergonomic. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's definitely a consideration, but I'm a little bit scared to jump over to it because it's so different than what I'm used to. So I don't know. Okay, so Sir Derber says, I got the Keychron K2. It is small and mechanical without an numpad on the side. Let's see what that looks like. So I mean, this looks nice, but it's it's not a split keyboard, which I've come to really like. If basically my wrist will start hurting if I'm too like this, and so having the keyboard be more stretched out like that, I think is probably a requirement for me. Because I don't know, my wrist starts hurting otherwise. The Ergodox EZ. What's that? Oh, okay. I mean, that seems up my alley. I'd be a little bit weirded out by the spacebar probably for a little bit, but that's probably something that you can get over pretty quickly. Yeah, maybe I'll try this out. I like how it's actually in two full pieces, and that you could actually put something in the middle, maybe. Like I've got an Elgato Stream Deck, so like maybe I'll put that in between them or something like that. I don't know. And I also like how it looks like there are some kind of definitely some extra programmable keys here, which could be nice. All right, I'll look into this one. This looks good. So I'm trying to figure out what the right way to get, because this API is for a specific person, but what I want is for a given movie, who are the actors, which it doesn't seem like is in here. So, oh, okay. So I get the slash credits, and then that gives me the cast. All right, that makes sense. So let's go ahead and set that up. So I'll call that like movie credits. With let's see here. So there's a cast and crew for this person. Cast, which gives me a list of, I guess our cast, yeah, okay. So maybe I'll say cast member. So this will be list of cast members. And then a cast member has a cast ID. I wonder if I should just call that cast ID. And then character. Gender. Oh, there's an ID and a cast ID and a credit ID. I'm not sure which of those I need, but I'm just gonna grab all three of them just in case. Credit ID, which is a string. And then they've got a name. And a profile path. So let me see if that profile path is a picture. Yeah, okay. So that's their picture. So that's nice. So I don't want that anymore. So I think if we get these types set up, I think that'll be like enough for us. So I want a movie response. But I'm not sure if, let's see, operated results, okay. This will have a page and results, which will be a list of movie. So that'll get me now rating, now playing, top rated. And I think I want these to accept pages. And that'll be that. Okay, so I probably need genres here. Hey, Andre. Andre says, I was looking into the modifier API and was curious what are the reasons for it being the way it is rather than a more traditional Kotlin DSL. Thinking about builder style API with custom receivers so that you have more declarative style of setting up params rather than chaining them with dots. Probably this question was answered before, but I couldn't find any documented source. That's a good question. So one, I mean, there's probably a few answers for this, but like we could we could go over a few. So let me just see like if I understand what you're asking. So like you're saying, why couldn't we have something like this equals modifier, you know, padding equals 10, and like, you know, width equals 20, and background equals, you know, color equals color.blue and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's a good question, and actually, I mean, really early on, there were a handful of prototypes that I had that kind of followed a pattern like this. At the time, we didn't really call it a modifier, but I was basically trying to propose some syntaxes kind of like this, and you know, there's kind of an interesting body of problems, and like it's really questionable. Like there are definitely trade-offs going in different directions. So one of the things that is interesting is like, so let's say that we were able to, like, one of the, let's start here, is that one of the core design goals of this was to make it so that whatever we ended up with, there were ways to combine these things together. And so that might be that there's some modifier coming up from above, right? It could also mean that you know, it means you've got some modifier that's like, you know, stored somewhere else. And so basically we wanted to be able to do something like this, whatever it was. And once you're able to do this, when you have these builder like DSLs, there's sort of all of these properties can kind of go in one of two directions. They can be overridable, which is like kind of what this suggests. So this is how, for instance, CSS works. If I define a padding here, you know, and then I define one here, the question then becomes which one wins, or how does this get resolved? What's the final padding that results? And so there are multiple bodies of thought, I guess. Like you can have some where this one wins, you can have some where this one wins, and then potentially, you know, something from here will even override and win that, or you can have them be additive, and so then they kind of come together, and so, you know, the plus symbol kind of, a lot of people think, okay, well, it should be additive or something like that, but those are all, you know, sort of judgment calls, and ultimately, like we you know, we've one of the kind of decisions that was made was that architecturally, we wanted this to sort of be like unaffected by the things above it. So this is a common kind of problem in React, for instance, or like this is like one of the things that I find really painful in React is if you want to have a component that is configurable and flexible to the person above it, but you also want like the behavior to be defined. And so one of the problems is like in React, you end up, you kind of give too much power to the caller to like mess things up. And so, you know, in a React component, I might have like some, you know, very carefully planned out CSS But I want to let like the caller, you know, add some of their own CSS if they want to, but I don't want them to mess up all my stuff. And so it's hard to define that API boundary. So you can give them like full access with like a class name or a style property, or you can be really explicit and you can go through and you can say, okay, well, you can define a padding and I'll have an explicit padding property, and you can define a you know, a background color or whatever. And so then, but then that's way too much work, because then you as the component author need to define all these things. And there might be some really like, you know, maybe that they don't want to add a padding. All they want to do is they want to add a class that'll, you know, have some other part of their system interact with it or something like that. And so one of the things that I really wanted was I didn't want these properties to be able to override each other. So basically, like, everything up here you should be able to define and like add and use, but it should be thought of as like being tacked on and not overriding at all. And I think that that's a really important principle, because what it lets you do is it lets you add this modifier parameter without much concern. So like now I can add this, I can let the caller specify all sorts of things, but it's not going to affect any of my stuff. All of the things I define here are going to stay defined in that way. And so I liked that. And then just by doing that kind of approach, this started to feel a little weirder to have this like, you know, setter, like this type of syntax. But I don't know. I mean, that's just me. Like, you could probably still make some syntax like this. The other thing is that like the number of times this is going to be called, I didn't want this to, this is maybe it's not a great argument, but it's an argument nonetheless. It's like, you know, we would end up having, even if this was an inline lambda or something, it's just like the number of lambdas defined everywhere would be like enormous. Even if they got inlined and stuff, it just, you know, it's kind of, it would end up being a lot. But yeah, I mean, you could probably come up with like a reasonable way to define this syntax anyway, if you wanted to. But yeah, we ended up with the dot syntax. Although it started off as more just like plus being the thing, and so, you know, it was more like padding plus width, stuff like that. And then we decided to add the modifier namespace, because, you know, all of these functions ended up being top level functions, and they were kind of like valuable names. And so then we ended up with like, okay, well, let's give it a namespace. And then it was like, well, why don't we just go with the Fluent API to define that? So I don't know, that was kind of the evolution of it all. Not sure if that helped explain it or not. Okay, so we've got our movies response, and then we want a genres response, and this will be a list of genres. And here we need a like the details. This has, so there is no genres response, or at least not that we're interested in. So we've got movies response, and then we need, what do we need? We need the get cast or get credits. Credits and path parameters, movie ID, credits. All right, and then this will be a credits response. That gives us movie credits actually, so we don't need the response class. Okay. Yeah, I mean the chaining, it's a mixed bag. I think it works pretty well. I feel like maybe initially I was a little turned off by it as well. And you know, I had a lot of kind of preconceived notions of what it should look like based on like a just, you know, previous APIs that I've used. But I've come to think that it's, you know, pretty good way for it to work. So what do I do? Do I do path here? The ID, something like that. Okay. So this gets me the cast. I think that's, oh, images is the other thing that we wanted. Get images. And this works the same way. And there's no page for this. So that gives us a movie image, but we need a image response. And that's gonna have an ID and backdrops. And posters. Oh, is that right? Genres. Well, it has ID and name, but not a full thing. So like my genre thing just is the name and the ID, and that seems to be what's in the example here. Okay. All right, and then we need a few more of these. All right, movie credits. ID. Okay. All right, I think that is kind of set up how we want it. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Oh, supports append to response. I like this. What is this? Okay, nice. So I can say, give me the images and genres of these movies. That's nice. Genre IDs, array, integer, movie popular. Oh, I guess I was looking at the details. That's probably why. So let's see. This is nice though. So they have this like append to response, so I can add a few things to include this in here. So I think we probably want like a partial movie and like a full movie or something like that. Yeah, I was looking at details, which has the full genre. So maybe we want like a partial movie. And let me actually probably want something like this. Yeah. And then this will be movie, and this should get me a full movie. And then I think what I want to do is for this in particular, I want to add append, and it'll get credits and images, I think. So I wonder, can I just like, if I wanted to add, all right, let's just say, Bizarre Turk asks, just joined, or using Flutter? No, I'm using Jetpack Compose. Let's see. I want this to be images and credits. Is there like a param here? Is that retrofit? Is there, do I need something to add it as a query parameter? What am I looking for here? Retrofit. Okay, so I want query and then append a response. Okay. And then so I probably need to make like a partial movie class, maybe, or I just make some of these things nullable. Let's see. So movies operated. Let's just look at popular. So let's get page and results. Yeah, I guess, okay, I see. So they have genre IDs. So genre IDs. I actually think I'm just gonna ignore or just make that whole thing nullable. Well, no, okay. Let's just make two classes because I want to add some stuff here as well. Partial movie. So here I really don't care about the overview either. So I'm just going to remove that. It's going to have ID title, poster path, backdrop path. Okay, and so then full movie. I'm going to add a few things onto this because this not only has genres, it's going to have images. And credits. Movie credits. This is just going to be one thing. Okay. And then we don't really need the images response anymore. I don't think. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to comment this out for the time being because I want to just try and get everything into this. So we basically just have like a master detail sort of request system going on here. Movie credits. Okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So just movie response and movie. Oh, sorry, you don't see the code. So basically this movie query is just getting a single movie, and I'm also going to get the images and credits from it. And so I don't think I really need these specific API calls. So then we'll just have movies response, which gives me a list of partial movies. And then that'll be used for like the carousel, and then the detail page will kind of have this, which then has the full genres, images, and credits here. Yeah. Wait, but the image. Oh, and then the images isn't a list either, is it? So this is just gonna say I wonder. Okay, I just want to try it with this. So then we'll use this ID 550. So move the API key. Sorry, you're not seeing this. So I want to figure out what this looks like when I do the append to thing. So we're going to say credits images, and that's it. So let's try that. Nicholas, I'm not really sure, but at least whatever the like tutorial I was looking at, this is how they did it, which I assume it just means that the a data class is basically converted into a constructor with various fields, and I guess this is going to be using reflection probably, and so then you want the annotation to be on the field itself, and if it's a data class with a constructor parameter, then the annotation I think by default is for the parameter, not the field, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so yeah, credits and then cast. All right. So this is correct, except it doesn't have that. Oh. Image. I'm surprised that the images show up empty. That's not very useful. And then credits is huge. So, all right. So credits has cast and crew, and I'm just not dealing with the crew right now. Like I kind of wish I could limit this or something, but it's fine. Genre. Okay. I think this is good enough for the moment. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. So here we are now. And I missed a few things. So JMP Next Gen says, "Hi, you wrote a great blog post explaining Jetpack Compose under the hood. I don't mean the 2 new Medium articles." Thanks. I appreciate that. Nicholas says, "Just joined, but there is a JSON to Kotlin data class plugin for IntelliJ." Do you mean the Kotlin X serialization? Is that what you're saying? So let's try and tweak some of these things. Let's get rid of this movies thing here. So get rid of that to here. We'll just go off that. All right, so now we want our items to be more like a piece of state here. So let's just grab the API here. Ambient movie API .current, and then we'll say launching composition. Movies. Under mutable state of, and then what do we want? We want a movies response, and we'll make it nullable and pass in null by default. And in here we'll say API dot top rated, first page, movies, and then that'll kind of just work. What we want to do, so we need to update usages now because we don't just have these things. So the background image, we could say this will be movies.results. So this will be the backdrop URL, and then poster URL. Are these functions now? I should turn them into properties. That's probably the better approach there. Oh no, they are properties. I don't know what the problem is then. Oh, I see. This is nullable, else empty list of partial movie. Not really sure what happens with 0 items. We might have some logic that'll break in that case. We'll go ahead and find out. So this movie poster, this now needs a partial movie. This needs to later be converted into genres, but I'm just gonna add some of these because we'll have to deal with that, but just to get things rendering right now. Do that. And then the actors, so I'm just going to comment this out. We will end up populating this from like a full movie at some point. And this is a cast member now. And then we'll want to do something similar for this image here to do the profile picture. So profile URL string. And then what size did we end up using for that? So 138. Just go ahead and do the same. 8. Okay. And then, you know, again, like I mentioned earlier, we might want to later on do something where we like are able to specify a width here, which then it would allow our UI to sort of create a more dynamic, you know, set of images that match the screen size and things like that a little more predictably, which is probably what we want. So still got some red up here. What's that from? It's a list of partial movie. That seems right, right? Now, partials. I feel like this should work. What am I missing here? Partials. That seems right. Does anyone see what I'm missing? I feel confused. I'm not sure why it's messed up. J Critical asked, "Do you know JavaScript?" Yeah, I mean, a big chunk of my career was mostly JavaScript, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Why do you ask? Oh, thanks, Sergey. I guess I'll have to play around with the width parameter then. Not sure what it wants us to do. So still pretty confused about what's going on here. Function carousel. Like, it just wants a list of T. I don't understand. What happens if I just try to build it? J Critical asks, how do I make a public bool? What do you mean? Public boolean in JavaScript? Is that what you're asking? Okay, this is weird. I don't know why it's not liking this. Maybe I'll just try this. Like, can I pass in a type parameter there? This is weird. Yeah, I mean, movies is just a state of the movie response. Okay. I mean, it looks like it actually compiled, so I don't know. It looks like the IDE's in a bad state for some reason. So I'm not sure why. I'm just gonna, like, I think this will compile. We ran into some runtime exception though. So width 342 and center crop. Okay. Start with that at least. All right, so getting an exception. No retrofit annotation found. Okay. Parameter number 1. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I didn't add the query param to these things. So basically we want this to be page. So that might work now. Let's try. So jcritical, if you a boolean that you want to use across scripts. So really depends on your setup, but I mean the kind of the simplest answer is to just define it on the global object or the window. That's not necessarily a great idea because kind of anyone can access it and things like that. What you might want to do if you're using something with like a module system like CommonJS, like if you're using Node.js with some bundler like Webpack or something like that, then you can create a module, which is like just a JavaScript file, and you can have one of its exports be a Boolean, and then you can import that in some other module, which is probably the more recommended way to do what you're asking, but I don't know. Okay, I think it crashed again? Yeah. Unable to create converter for class movie responses. Oh, I see. Okay, so I guess I need Kotlin reflect. Kotlin JSON. Oh, Kotlin. Or use CodeGen. JSON. So is this Kotlin JSON adapter factory what I want here? Moshi Kotlin. Maybe I need to add another API. Okay. Moshi.builder. I see. So I think I need to add like a Moshi Kotlin thing here. Moshi.builder.add last. Okay. See if that works. All right, so can add that now. I guess I need to build this then. Build. Let's see if that works. So do I need to add the CodeGen one? Or I think this is essentially doing it reflection based right now, right? 'Cause I don't. I guess I should try it. I'm not sure if the capped one will work, but maybe it will. I'm gonna try leaving this file and opening again because I'm surprised that it's showing up as a compiler in the IDE, but it's not. It's weird. There it goes. Yeah, I don't know why it did that. Strange. All right. Still failed. Different failure though. Oh, well, is it a different failure? So that got us in a 404. Which, that's fun. These are all old. Okay, so Where's this movie database? All right. Guess I should add this back in. Yeah, I was thinking it could be the slash as well. But I would be surprised if that would return a 404, but maybe it would. I'm gonna just get the logging interceptor set up. It'll just make things easier. Which artifact is this from? Is this... okay, it's probably this. Let's see. Sync. Yeah, I'm getting the logging interceptor set up now. All right, let's try it now. Oh, wonder if I just broke some stuff because it's using a different version of OKHTTP now. I probably need an older version of the logging interceptor. Let's see if it doesn't conflict. Maybe it won't. I suspect it will though. Could I show off a preview? Yeah, I mean when the app doesn't build at the moment, so hopefully we'll have something in a second to show. Okay. So it was 404. What did we send? So let's see, what is wrong with this? Movie top rated seems like what we want. Oh, I wonder if I am supposed to send page 1 instead of page 0. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Is there an API version? Oh, /3, is that? Is that what's needed? Yeah, okay. Got it. Thank you. So our base URL, which is where? Here? Nope, here. Okay, so we're gonna do /3 there. Let's see how that works. Did it crash again? Did. Interesting. Okay. Could not find icon drawable from resource. Base URL must end in /. Okay. We'll get there eventually. Try that. All right, got a little bit further. 422. Oh, I'm still getting page 0. Okay. Movie carousel. Let's pass in page 1. Required value poster path missing. Nicholas asks, how's the dog? Dog's good. I think it got back from daycare like an hour ago or something. So I haven't seen him, but maybe he'll wander on in here. So our poster URL needs to be null. Poster path needs to be null. Here we go. So this is nullable. This is also probably nullable. Wonder what else. Does it talk about nullability in the definition? Yeah, okay. Pretty much everything's nullable. That's fine. I'm just gonna do that here. Oh, but this is in movie. Then here we just do this, this. I'm gonna say title needs to be there. I kind of want to just like do a default. This is kind of lame, but whatever. Let's just try that for the moment. Hey, Joe Enderby. Good to see you. All right, well, we finally have something rendering without error. Let's see. This isn't great. None of the posters are showing up. I don't know why. It's nice to see all of this, like a lot more in the carousel though. And then, so it's like none of the images are working at all. I don't know why. Like, if I go to, what did I do? Did I get popular? Is that what I did? Top rated. What I did. So, let's see. If we go here, oops, what shows up? Okay. So, I mean, poster path is there, as well as backdrop path. So, Gabriel's Inferno, I mean, both those images should show up. So, let's find out what, I'm doing double slashes here. It's one of the problems. Okay, that might have just been it. Let's just give that a shot. Doesn't seem like it. So yeah, let's just put a breakpoint here. These breakpoints aren't setting, but okay. Let's try this. One of these will work, maybe. Oh, sorry. Have you on the wrong thing? So I kind of want to see if I just grab this and put it here. Okay, so that image shows up. So that's not a problem. Poster URL. What is happening here? Why is this taking so long? I think I did remove a slash. Oh, well, I do want to go here, but okay. All right, now it's debugging. And it's gonna be null this time, so that's fine. This is annoying. My computer is really, really dragging it. Okay. So, this is like, can I step in? Okay, it like paused on remember for some reason. Yeah, it's like the debugger really needs to handle delegates much better than it does. I'm actually going to write that down as some feedback. Okay, so finally we're here. So poster path and backdrop path do not seem to be getting filled. Because it should be present in the response based on what we saw. It seems like they're just always null. Poster underscore path. Like, I wonder if this isn't working. If like ID and title are the same. Like, I wonder if this like field JSON thing isn't working. Like, just let me try that. Whoops. And then everything else is kind of the same. So this should change. Is the aspect ratio camel case? No. Okay. And then credits. Cassidy. This is probably profile path. Yeah. I guess I probably should have verified that this was fixing it before changing all these, but whatever. All right, let's try that. Okay, so that fixed some things. So the poster images are kind of messed up. Need to figure out what's going on there. I guess what did we end up doing for those? For the backdrop URL, we did 300 width, which is not great. I'm surprised that that would have that effect. I guess basically they're square images. Okay, what does this say? I'm looking at this image page. Base URL, file size, and file path. First two pieces can be treated by calling the configuration API. So I guess I can get the original. I guess that's it. You can just specify the width. System-wide configuration. Some elements in API require knowledge. So what does this end up being? Okay, so poster sizes 500, 700, and original. Backdrop sizes are 300, 780, 1280. Okay. Kind of want the 780 here, but poster sizes, that seems fine. Oh, and then profile, I guess we want 185 is probably what we want here. Okay. All right, when we go back here, we've got yeah, DOT, I think maybe it is the at field part of the annotation. I'm not sure. Okay. So I want to figure out the backdrop image appears to be square. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, I don't want to get the original because we're getting a whole bunch of these, but 780 seems fine. I mean, I think a very reasonable thing for us to do might be to write some code that would check to see if they're like on Wi-Fi or something, but for just what we're doing right now, I think just grabbing 780. So in our carousel, this is the backdrop image. think I'm gonna hide the carousel for a moment and see what that looks like. So if I just go here and this is the stack. Wonder what's gonna happen if I do that. Oh, guess this backdrop is kind of not really what we want, is it? These are landscape pictures. Sergey says, general question, is it possible to measure view hierarchy ahead of composition? For instance, I want to calculate the number of UI pages depending on the content height. So you can, I mean, there's some information that you can get during composition. So there's a with constraints API, which what it'll do is like, it'll compose everything kind of above you, and then it'll lay everything else out, and then whatever the constraints pass to you, like, so during the layout phase, it'll basically then ask your composable to render or to compose then. And so then you can make a choice based on the constraints that come in, and you can choose to, you know, if there's some amount of height or something, then you can, you know, render 10 things versus 4 things or something like that. You can do that. For what you're talking about, that's probably the right usage of it. In general, the only use case really where with constraints is the right thing to do is if you want to conditionally compose a different hierarchy based on the constraints, which sounds like what you're wanting. Okay, so I guess this backdrop thing isn't really what we want. I suppose I will just pass it the poster URL. We should, you know, it'll be the same image each time, which is like a little bit of a bummer. That was part of our design, was that it wasn't the same image each time. But I mean, we're kind of limited by what the API gives us, so that's sort of a bummer, but I'm not really sure what to do about it. All right, that looks, you know, like the appropriate size. All right, so this is pretty neat. You know, we're getting through there. It's like an off by 1 error here. All right. So the next thing that we want to do, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like at some point it gets we might have some iffy logic there. There's, yeah, it gets off by 1. But so what we can do now is we can have this interaction pull in the like the full movie, and then we'll render some of that stuff there. So that shouldn't be all that hard to do. Let's see. So what am I wanting? I'll go to movie poster. So what's kind of neat is that like here what I can do is if it's expanded, well, okay, so let's see. Like what I could do here is I'll just say, I'm gonna get a coroutine scope, and then here, I'm gonna launch and do API.movie. Let's get the selected carousel state dot selected index. So then let's say we get the ID, which will be the movies dot results selected index, and if it's null, then something went wrong. So I'm just going to return there. But if it's not null, what is that? Safe call. Sure. Yep. So now we have the ID. So let's get the full movie here. So this will be a full movie. And what is it? The ID. And then we can like so I mean one thing that we can do instead is this partial movie. I mean realistically we should probably set up some sort of like a cache somewhere. But we can do like a very local cache by just having a well, I don't know if I want to, yeah, I kind of want to keep that to be nullable here. So I guess what I'll do instead is I'll just say expanded movie. I remember state of movie And then here I'll just go ahead and set that. And then whenever that is done loading, we can expand the selection then. In general, this isn't like, I'm doing this so that we can kind of get to like a working interaction, but this isn't really what I would want to do long term. So we'll probably tweak this a bit, but this isn't super safe for a few reasons. Like one, I could click this and then like, let's say this took a long time, then I could keep scrolling on the carousel and end up like expanding a different movie at that time. And then when I hit expand selected item, then that's gonna expand like a different item, and the expanded, so these will all kind of, there'll be some race conditions, and we should maybe like kind of create a scope that'll cancel the previous coroutine before that one. Like every time we do this, we essentially cancel any existing coroutines that we have launched. And so that's probably what I'll do. But like, let's just get this kind of working in the unsafe version first, and we'll go from there. Actually, I don't know. I want to... Yeah, okay. I'm going to do this in a different way. Let's do this. I don't like this. Let's have movie poster deal with this. So... what we can do is yeah, now this should be a better way to do this. So now what I can have is I'll have the full movie here. And then I'll say expanded and full movie not null. That seems better. And then instead of doing this, we don't want that. API movie in here. We'll just say movie equals or API we'll say full movie equals API movie and movie.id. All right, so this is going to get launched when expanded turns true, which is kind of nice because then we're just only doing the expensive bit at that point. And so then we don't need that anymore. So let's try that. I think that'll be decent. So this isn't unsafe yet in any way. I don't think. Yeah, should be fine. All right, so we've got this carousel thing going on here. So let's then, ran into an issue there. What was that? Expected begin array was begin object. All right. At images. Okay, so I guess the images ends up being a list. What did I do here? So this is an image. So yeah, okay. What I need is posters, the image, and backdrops. Posters, okay. And then our movie class should just get this. Movie images, yeah. All right, and that should be good for us. Let's just go ahead and build. Reb CSP says KT is Kotlin. Yes, that's the Kotlin file extension. And Sergey says, I saw recent commits with the new API intended to replace current launching composition called launch task, if I'm not mistaken. Also some side effect API. Interesting. Yep. Yeah, just some API juggling. The basically, so one of the reasons is that like we want to think of composables that don't return something. We want to think of them as a noun, like it's a declarative thing. Like, so one thing to remember is like composable functions, you know, semantically we want to think of them as pure. They basically store their side effects in the composition. And so instead of the like, you know, unit return as an indication that there are side effects, instead of what we want to think of it as a unit returning composable function is like a thing that we're declaring. And so launch task is, I guess, our way of doing that, but it's basically the same API. And then the same thing for side effects. So this is launching composition. And then this is basically replacing it's basically on commit with 0 args. And then you can see there's another CL out for disposable effects. And so this has the on dispose, and this takes args, and this is sort of replacing on commit with one-to-many args. And the idea is that side effect here is somewhat lighter weight, and so it's executed every single composition, but it's only executed if the composition gets committed. And this is lighter weight than our current on commit. So like this is a fairly like low overhead thing to do, but it'll become important to use this API for any side effect once we get into like multi-threaded composition and parallel composition and stuff like that. So if you're like kind of part of the React community or interested in any of that, like right now there's a lot of usage of React that the React team is trying to kind of wrangle in to make it compatible with concurrent mode. And you know, we have a lot of the same constraints if we're going to go to multi-threaded composition, and this is like one of the things that is going to bite people basically. So like if I like create some objects, like let's say we've got foo var on you know some callback. If this is just a property, like one of the things that you see people do right now is you'll have like some, you know, my composable, and you'll have like on, you know, on some event. And what people will do is they'll say, okay, I'm gonna, let's say this is the on event here. I'm gonna say foo.onEvent equals on event. And that's like, I mean, that's not the most unreasonable thing to do, because basically this is an event and it's a callback that's going to get executed some other time, and so, you know, setting this is reasonably safe if all compositions are guaranteed to succeed and there aren't any sort of race conditions with parallel compositions. But this is a side effect. This is a mutation. So I'm mutating foo. And foo, it's a remembered object, so it's going to be shared across compositions, potentially across threads if we're doing a multi-threaded composition. And so the idea is that since this is a side effect, the only thing that you now need to do is do that. And so you just store this in this side effect. And now this will only happen in the right order, and there are no race conditions that you're dealing with. And so we wanted this API to kind of be lightweight, and we wanted it to be a noun, and like side effect as like an apt name maybe. And then the thing that this is like meant for, like disposable effects, is like if it's sort of like side effect, but if you need to like tear something down. So like if you had, you know, foo.add handler on event or something, you know, then now that like became something that that needs like some disposing sort of behavior, right? So then you might, you know, say remove handler event. So you do something like that. And so then that's the idea behind this. And this is like, it's a little bit heavier weight because of on dispose. Like it's like more to keep track of. So this is a little bit less overhead, and it's such a common case that we wanted to make it cleaner. And then, so the nice thing about this is if we use this API, we can now yell at you if you didn't add an on dispose. And so we'll probably do something like that, where basically you can only use this if you're actually doing something to tear it down, because that's like semantically the idea here. So anyway, those are, you know, that's the inside scoop on some of those APIs coming in, I guess. Hi Krill. Krill asks, are you going to do examples of a camera app with Compose? I'm interested in AR specifically. I could. I haven't. I mean, I didn't have any explicit plans to do so, but I'm, you know, I could do that. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like the really interesting things for those types of apps are things that aren't really that related to Compose. Like, I think they're interesting. It's just it may not influence Compose APIs all that much. So I'm not sure that it's the best use of like this dog fooding exercise for me. Sergey asks, what will be with current collective state? Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, what do you mean? What will be with it? So this built, let's check it out. So that didn't, oh, but I'm not adding any of those things. Okay. So, like, I think it worked, but I'm not rendering any of the new stuff. Okay. So let's say full movie. Now I think I might say full movie not equal null. Actually, I'm gonna do this. If expanded. Let's just add that separately. And then here I'll say and full movie null. Not sure I can smartcast that or not. So then in here, I can do this. Full movie dot credits dot crew cast. And I'm just gonna start by taking like 10 of these at like a maximum. So I don't want to. I think on some of them there's like 100. I don't want to render all of them. And then here I can say full movie dot overview, I guess. Let's put this in like a and then, I mean, even though our mockup has introduction there, I think we might as well just call it what it is, which is an overview. I guess this is this is final, so we can do that. Okay. So that's maybe reasonable. Let's see. So then we call that with an actor. Some errors up here. Okay, they're gone now. Okay, thanks for the joke, 0 to hero. Oh, I guess this is not equal null. Okay, so this works basically. So we've kind of got this stuff lazily loading and then coming in. We've got some actors here, and it's not really enough content to be scrollable at the moment, but so we can go. Uh-oh. What caused that? See, profile path was null. Credits cast profile path. Okay. So want to go here. I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna filter for non-null profile path. Profile path. But that won't be enough because it was a JSON serialization issue, because this needs to be nullable. And then here, I don't know. I mean, we can just do that for now, but. So character and name. Did our mockup have both of those? Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, the mockup doesn't really have what their character name is, but I mean, we probably should show it because it seems like it should be there. But okay, so here's Shawshank. Whoops. Oh, yeah, we need to get navigation set up, don't we? So that works. And that was the one that failed before, so that one works too. All right. I mean, it's not terrible, but yeah, still some ways to go. But it's nice that we've got some stuff like working on real data now, and you know, I think next time what we'll do is like start cleaning up some of this code a little bit. Like right now, you know, I've just kind of been like aggressively going past stuff, but what we might want to do next time is kind of start to think about what structure some of this should take, and like what code do we have here that's scalable versus not, and how can we make it more so, and some stuff like that. And then maybe we do a little bit of animation polish, and we could, you know, start displaying some more data, maybe take some of our own sort of liberties here in terms of design, you know, or we could move on to a different project. Like, you know, we've been spending a few weeks on this movie app, which you know, I think it's a cool design, and there's obviously a lot more work that we could do, but you know, maybe folks are getting a little bit bored of it. Maybe it'd be better for us to jump to another design that we had looked at and try that instead. So I don't know if any of you have like a I don't know, a cool idea or design or something that you would like to see me work on and stream, let me know. But I think at that point, or at this point, it's 4:30. I think I'm gonna end the stream here and go work on some other stuff. But this was a lot of fun, and thanks for bearing with me as we moved over to retrofit and stuff like that. But it was good exercise and some good chats. So thanks everyone, and I will see you. Well, Wednesday I guess is the next scheduled stream. But I'll probably do something tomorrow or even later tonight. I think I'm gonna do some more of the code review that we did that from that CL the other day, and so I need to finish that. And I think it'll be good if I do all of the code review live, just so we can like finish that whole thing. Yeah, so look out for that. That'll probably be tonight or tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Cheers.